North Star Mall responds to reports federal officials were planning to drop off cruise ship passengers after their release from coronavirus quarantine at Joint Base Lackland.
According to the Associated Press, the passengers were scheduled to head to the mall on Sunday. Eyewitness News reporter Marvin Hurst has more on that drop-off that's raising eyebrows.
Increased scrutiny tonight for the Center of Disease Control. An Associated Press report says an undetermined number of passengers from a cruise ship impacted by the coronavirus were going to be dropped off at North Star Mall Sunday. In the report, a passenger from Houston showed the AP a text message from the CDC indicating the release point was at the mall's entrance near the Cheesecake Factory, away from the view of the media. The passengers were medically cleared from the 14-day quarantine period. On the same weekend, a woman who had twice tested negative for COVID-19 was released before the results of a third test showed she still had signs of the virus. By then, she had been inside of North Star, at the San Antonio International Airport, and a hotel. City and Bexar County officials have been critical of the CDC over that release, even trying to rewrite part of the agency's protocol in court. Tonight, Mayor Ron Nierenberg assures the public in a Facebook post that no community-transmitted cases are in San Antonio as a result of the blunder. The mall was shut down and cleaned as a precaution. It has reopened for business. Brookfield Properties, which manages North Star, says they were not informed about the drop-off. Marvin Hurst, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.